Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review of the CW's The Vampire Diaries. This week we've seen Season 7, Episode 6, which is entitled Best Served Cold. And, this episode did a pretty good job of, sort of building upon the momentum that I feel the season has been gaining, because of the whole Jullian hype and things like that. And this episode served as a pretty good follow-up to, what was the story surrounding him, and especially with what was revealed with, how he caused, the death of Valerie and Stefan's unborn son. So this episode is a good, sort of, main introduction to Jullian as a character. But, of course, with the way he was brought back with the Phoenix Stones, such as what happened with Joe and Oscar, there's going to be some kind of side effect, and it appears like we're kind of seeing the start of it. He sort of has increased aggression, his attitude's a little bit different, or heightened, I want to say, because it sounded like he was a dick in the past anyway, so, but once again, this episode starts with a flash forward, and, I've kind of liked these flash forwards, how they've been laid throughout the season to really just make us ask about 29,000 questions about, that 3 year from now timeline. This one we've seen that it seemed like, for some reason, Alaric might be Caroline's fiance, because Alaric was saying, how his someone or whatever was like the newscaster. Caroline is the newscaster, and that shows Caroline on TV. So that was weird enough already. I was hoping I had heard that wrong or something. But we'll talk more about that towards the later part of the video. You have Stefan, he has a nightmare. Or what starts off as a very pleasant sequence. He's with his son, who, of course, is named Jacob. I approve of that. He's out trying to teach him how to hunt. And, of course, he ends up disappearing, and, he wakes up, and, so, even though Stefan, there's probably a part of Stefan that would like to build something with Valerie, but, we all know he's not going to end up with Valerie, but, I do, understand the part of him that does want that family he could have had, and does want that, relationship to his son that he could have had. Also, of course, the main part of this episode is the fact that Lily invites Stefan and Damon, to, in very formal fashion, to welcome a friend, a very special friend of hers, the love of her life and stuff like that, Jullian. And so there's that. One of the funnier parts of it was Nora, showing Jullian Candy Crush, I think it was. I've never... This is going to sound really odd, but I've never had like a personal cell phone of any kind, or iPhone or anything like that. I've just not really had the need for it. I don't really go very many places, so I don't really have to worry about that. Most people I would hang out with at some point would normally have a phone that I could use anyway, if I needed to call someone. But, I still know what Candy Crush is, and it appeared that Nora was showing Jullian how to play Candy Crush. She said give it 5 more minutes and, he'll be addicted to it. But he didn't appear to have that patience. Of course, Alaric is trying to keep his distance from Joe, but we know it's not Joe. It's basically a random vampire soul in her body, which, of course, just makes it, torturous for Alaric, because he sees his wife, but yet he has to realize it's not her. And he just has to and it just causes him to think about the fact that he can't have her, and the fact that he's without his wife all over again. So it's really a sad situation for him. Of course, Stefan and Jullian playing pool. Stefan is pretty hell bent on killing Jullian tonight. Mainly because of what was driven. Because of what happened with Valerie. That's really driving him to do this, and Damon's actually coming from a different perspective. Yes, he wants Jullian dead, but he wants Lily to, really believe it's going to last for the eternity, and then rip her away from her. Similar to what she did with casting that spell on Elena. So both brothers want Jullian dead, but they just want to go about it in different types of diabolical ways. And yeah, really, I'm not saying Jullian doesn't deserve to die. Oh, he definitely does. And he'll probably be dead, by or before the end of this season, so I'm not really worried about that. But also we had Bonnie and Enzo. We're actually starting to see some chemistry between them. Because, of course, Lorenzo was invited to Lily's party, as was Bonnie, because they're supposedly trying to make peace, new start with Jullian being back. And, appears that Lily does have feelings for Enzo, so Bonnie is trying to show Enzo that, there's someone better out there for him, even, I don't think she quite wants it to be her yet, but apparently she does, because they're kind of sharing looks and they kind of had a warm moment together. And really, I can feel the chemistry. I think the actors kind of work well together. Kat Graham and Michael Malarkey, who plays Enzo, I think they're good together, like bouncing off each other on screen. And I think it'd be interesting to see the Bonnie character sort of like pull the Enzo character into more more of a humanity-like point. But I still feel like it's kind of random how they're kind of mashed together in that flash forward we got in the previous episode. I still feel like it's kind of out of nowhere. But it's not the worst case of that. We'll get to that in a few minutes, like I mentioned with the Caroline and Alaric thing. Okay, let's see. Jullian, he's already going against Lily's wishes. He approaches Mary Louise, who is being very insecure about her and Nora are still kind of butting heads, and Nora's out kind of spending time with everyone else, so she's feeling very insecure. Jullian and her sort of bond over feeding on a guest, which Lily specifically forbade, and they're both kind of blood driven, and you can tell Jullian's still an untrustworthy prick even with the woman he loves being Lily supposedly. Of course, Stefan does end up making an attempt on Jullian's life, and he's almost pretty successful with it too. He stabs him and he throws him into the fireplace, but Lily interrupts that. Damon ends up coming in, but Jullian pretty much ends up bringing the both of them down, and Lily ends up stopping Jullian from killing her boys, who she seems to be starting to realize are her sons, so she should care about them. But we'll really see where that goes. Later on, Jullian and Lily sort of have a heart-to-heart. It appears that they come to an understanding, but, Jullian's just going to cross her again. And Jullian says, she's not the woman he fell in love with anymore. Basically he fell in love with that more ruthless Ripper Lily, which has sort of been lessened, since she first showed up on the show. Okay, but besides that, we did get a great, well-acted scene between Alaric and Joe. Not really Joe, though. We found out the vampire trapped inside her is named Florence, but, it's still the actress who played Joe acting this part out. And I thought Matt Davis and the actress of Joe were both great in the scene. Alaric, somewhat being able to say goodbye to his wife when Florence is slowly dying, from the inside, basically. This really well-acted scene. I kind of almost teared up a little bit, just seeing Alaric's pain once again. This dude, they just won't let him be happy, will they? So that was, definitely the most emotional part of the episode. And this is the part... Okay, well, then they sort of start talking about how Alaric's kids could still be alive because there was some kind of chant going on during Alaric's wedding. Because with them being Joe's kids, they're going to be the next twins. They're going to be part of that witch thing that sort of what Joe and Kai were set up for in last season. But we'll get, and then we end up. We'll talk about this in a minute. I'll hold off on it for another second or two. We do get a good scene between Stefan and Damon. They sort of, Stefan sort of, vents to his brother over what having that kid would have meant to him. And, even though he knows it was so long ago and that shouldn't matter to him, it still hits him for some reason. And, Damon, says he's completely willing to, try and form a plan to kill Jullian tonight, tomorrow, whenever Stefan's ready. So I really like that bonding scene between the brothers. We haven't had, like, too much of that this season. Just, like, a slower, more character-driven moment between the two. So I like that. I talked about the Jullian and Lily scene, and then we find out that somehow Alaric's babies are inside Caroline. Yeah, I had the same reaction. I don't. This season's been good overall, I guess, but like this whole Bonnie and Enzo pairing, and then this weird Alaric's kids somehow being trapped inside Caroline thing, and Caroline being his fiance in the future, I guess. What? I don't really know where they're going with this. I'm not sure if I can't say I like it. At this point, I just hope it doesn't somehow force an Alaric and Caroline relationship. That would be weird. I don't think that would really work. But again, I'll give this a chance. I'll see where they go with it. So, yeah, those are my overall thoughts on the episode this week. Not one of the best, but there are certain scenes that, involving Alaric saying goodbye to Joe. Stefan and Damon scene, and just Stefan, with it, thinking about his son and stuff, were all pretty good. The Enzo and Bonnie stuff has potential, I guess, but I guess I'm going to need to see more of it to have it grow on me a bit more. And the whole babies, Lark's kids being inside Caroline thing, I'm not sure about that one. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy this video review. I'll be posting my originals one fairly soon tonight. And yeah, so add me on Twitter, follow me on... Add me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, MoviePilot, LookForensWorld.com. Catch you guys next time, and peace. I guess that Caroline thing really threw me off.